walk in purpose. So today, I just want to share with you some of the things that I've learned from 2016. Yesterday, I talked about those things, and the 3 that I talked about yesterday, I'm just going to give you those titles really quickly. You can go back and look at that video, and now I'm going to get started with the 3 things that I've learned this year. So if it's something that you think that somebody can benefit from, go ahead and share it with your followers. I just have one rule for you being on my live stream. Just make sure that you interact with me. I am a talkback. I need a talkback audience, talkback church, all of that. So if something resonates with you, you put boom in the comments, or you could put the little star for a boom. You tap the screen to give hearts. You give me a thumbs up. You give me any of those things if something is resonating with you. So the 6 things that I learned from 2016, the first 3 were yesterday, and the first one was purpose, not perfection. You need to be purposeful and not be perfect, right? The second one was I understand and learn that I am not for everyone. I'm not for everyone, but I am for someone, right? And the third thing that I learned that I shared yesterday was you can start with $1 in a dream. So when Biggie said have $1 in a dream, you definitely can start with $1 in a dream. You're looking at living proof right here that you can start with $1 in a dream. So tonight, I want to get into the next 3 things that I learned in 2016 that I hope that you can take with you into 2017, right? So the 4th thing I learned in 2016 was that I needed to change the narrative. I needed to change the narrative. A narrative is just what you say to yourself. A narrative is a collection of stories that you've had from your life, from your past, from what people have said, whatever the case may be. Hey, Shamika girl, hey. So I learned that what I found was throughout the years, I had this collection of things that I can only be. I had this collection of things that people have told me, right, that I needed to be. Hey, Felicia, how are you? That I can do or I can't do, and all of these things. And I struggled in 2016 because I needed to figure out exactly what I should be doing. And in order for me to do that, I needed to change the story that was in my head. I needed to change the story that was fed to me all of my life. I needed to change all of those things that I picked up along the way that said that I couldn't, that said that I shouldn't, that said that I should only focus on this, right? That I should only focus on being good at one thing at a time. And if that's just working and being a wife and being a mother, then I just need to do that. If that's just being an assistant pastor, then I just need to do that. I can't possibly do and be all of these things at the same time. But what I found is my story is for me. Your story is for you. And everybody that has fed me stories to say that I think we should write things down all the time. Absolutely. Guess what? Everybody that told me their story, right? Everybody that has said that I should only do it, I should only be that box that people put you in, that for whatever reason or another you subscribe to, that you actually get in, that you allow for them to tape up and put you in. I had to then change my story. I had to then change the narrative. I had to break open and break out of the box. Who said that I can't be a successful entrepreneur, businesswoman, work a job, be a wonderful and dutiful wife, be an amazing mom, and everything else? Why does society say that something has to lack because I choose to be all of these things, right? Why does society say, and who told me that I can't be all of these things at one time? I know I am not looking to be superwoman, but I'm looking to be the best at being me. So I had to change my thought process, and I had to change the narrative because that was the story that was on repeat all over my mind. That was the story that I kept telling myself. So as long as I told myself that I wasn't going to be able or possibly be able to juggle everything, I wasn't juggling everything, because that's what I told myself, because that's what society has said in my reality. So I had to change that so that I can focus on being all that I am assigned to be and all that my hands are supposed to be assigned to. So in order for you to go to your next level, in order for you to be better, you have to change your narrative. What story are you telling yourself that says that you possibly can't? What story are you telling yourself that says that you have to wait to do and to be? What story are you subscribing to and reading all over again that suggests that you can't do and be everything that you desire to be? Change the narrative. Change the narrative. When you change the narrative, you change your perspective, right? So one of my favorite quotes is by Wayne Dyer, and it says, when you change the things you look at, the things you look at change. That just simply means that you need to change your perspective. You need to change what you hone in on. You need to change those thoughts that's in your mindset, because when I change what I look at, right? If I no longer look at all of the things that I can't do, if I no longer look at all of the reasons that suggest that I'm not going to make it, if I no longer look at those things and I begin to shift to say, I can do all of these things. I can be every last one of these things. You've done more with less, so why not continue on? Why not move forward, right? So you got to change your narrative. You have to change your perspective. That was the fourth thing that 2016 has taught me. The fifth thing is that balance is key. That balance is key and it is attainable, right? So balance means to have a handle on various elements in your life and not being pushed in any specific area. So not being pulled. So balance again means that you have a handle, that juggling, that scale. You have a handle on the various things that you have going on in your life, and you're not being pushed or pulled in any specific direction, but you are balancing your life. You are balancing the things that are on your plate. It is like you have a plate, a Thanksgiving plate with so many things on them, and rather than focusing on eating one thing at a time, you take your fork and you take some of everything that you have and you enjoy it. Nobody said that you had to eat all of the collard greens at one time to be balanced. Nobody said that you only should focus on the turkey and the meat. Nobody said all of those things, but what you do know is that you need balance if you're going to juggle more than one thing. So I learned that for me, my stress level went up, right, when I didn't know how to balance. When I gave this thing 100% and didn't give this thing any percentage. I know me. I am a person that needs structure. I am a person that needs order. So for me, I had to learn how to balance things out. Right? So you all know that follow me know that I do 1,000 things at one time, but for me, balance is the key. And I'll give you an example. You got to make your life easier. So for me, balance is the key. I knew that today I was off, but I also knew that I needed to go get my hair done. I knew that it was the week of New Year's Eve. And guess what? It was going to be 1 million people there. So did my family suffer behind that? Absolutely not. What did I do? I put the food in the crock pot before I left. I made sure that everything was done there. I was able to go do everything that I needed to do. My family was taken care of while I was under the dryer. I emailed people back. I created flyers. I did all of these things. So it's about balancing your time, not allowing your things to balance you. Right? So I had to learn that. I have always been a person that has done various things at one time. And in order for me to do them seamlessly, there are some things and some life hacks that I need. So balancing your life is key. There are times where I don't do anything, right? I am so purposeful about the things that I do, that if you call me today or tomorrow with information for me to come and speak at your university or at your event, you're going to get my bio and my speaker information. And in it says that I do not take speaking engagements in June, July, or December. Why? Because I understand that balance is key. There are heightened times in my job, meaning my vocation. I work in higher education. So there are times in my life that I'm always going to be running and doing something. There are times in our ministry that are peak times that I can't go out and do things. So I need some downtime with my family to create memories, to do the things that we love, to make sure that my home front is absolutely right. So there are times where I don't do things. There are times where the only support that I can give people is a phone call, a FaceTime, or a text message, because I can't go. I can't come. So I don't take engagements in December. I don't take engagements in June or July. Their ministry or any other form of engagements, unless it's something that I know that I cannot put off. So you have to learn to balance. Balance to me means that I am totally okay with sometimes the dishes being in the sink. I am totally okay if we binge eat on things that we shouldn't eat and just sit and watch television, as opposed to trying to go and do. There are times in my life that I need to not have so much structure. I need to not have so many people around, because my life and the things that I do always requires that I'm talking or have people around. So I guard those areas of my life so that I can have that downtime. So I learned that in order for me to be successful, in order for me to be the best person that I can be and to be purposeful, that I need to balance out my life. Some may say that it doesn't require all of that, but I promise you that if you're going to do more than one thing at a time, if you're going to be purposeful going into your next season or your next year, you have to learn time management. You need to learn how to balance. You need to learn things that are going to help you and not hinder where you're going. So I learned that balance is key. And the last thing that I learned in 2016 about myself, or just the lessons period, is that I needed to own my experience. I needed to own my experience. And what do I mean by owning my experience, right? This means that my reality, the things that has happened to me, the things that, whatever the case may have been, my past, all of that, I own it and I understand that this has happened to me, but this is not who I am. Hey, Tanya, how are you? This has happened to me, but it's not who I am. So owning my experience, right? Made for Purpose was birthed out of me owning my experience. Guess what? I can't teach you how to walk in self-love. I can't teach you how to have self-esteem. I can't teach you how to balance and do any of these things if I have not owned everything that I wasn't. If I have not owned everything that has happened to me, everything. But guess what? It's happened to me, but it does not define me. Actually, it catapulted me into my destiny. It pushed me. It was the prerequisite that I needed to walk in my purpose. So I own it. No longer do I hide behind what my mom didn't do. No longer do I hide behind what my father wasn't. No longer do I hide behind being the little girl with both parents incarcerated at 14 years old, and I'm struggling to balance a household and be a teenager, and I'm struggling with self-esteem issues, right? It does not define me. But guess what? That was my superpower. They were the things that I got through. And now I am able to reach back and get all of those people that I can see the rejection in their eyes, that I can see the low self-esteem, that I can see all of those things. And I believe that for some of us, the reason why we aren't as successful in our lives, not success as it relates to money and all of those things, but I'm saying success with your inner self and being at one with who you are, is because you have not owned your experience. You can't even come face to face with it, let alone be able to talk about your testimony. So in order for you to go to your next level, in order for you to walk in freedom, in order for you to be all that you need to be in life, you have to own your experience. because it's yours. It's nobody else's. It has shaped you. It has molded you, regardless of whether and how bad it has hurt you, regardless of whether or not you wish that it did not happen to you. Own it and walk and learn from it. Don't look at it as something that you can't get over, as something that, why me, right? Look at it as, what can I learn from that, right? So that required that even in this season, right? Even after the book, even after all of that, right? And walking in wholeness, I still had to reach back and own my experience. I still had to reach back and say, wow, that has happened to you. And I can't believe for so many years you focused so much on why not me? Why this? Why you spent so many years being angry, but look at you now. You're helping young ladies walk in purpose. You're helping women to get to their emotional wellness. You're helping people be brave, be bold, and be great. Why? Because I owned my experience. It's mine, right? It's nobody else's, but it's mine. But I knew that in order for me to be successful, in order for me to be the person that God intended for me to be, I need to come face to face with it. I needed to come face to face with it. I owned it. I made it mine, and I made it memorable. This is what I wrote. I owned it. I made it mine, and I made it memorable. Listen. That's why Made for Purpose is called Made for Purpose, because that thing made me who I am today. I own it, and it made me who I am. But guess what? I wouldn't have it any other way, because had it not happened to me, I wouldn't be right here today. I wouldn't be able to talk to you all right here and right now. So these are the lessons that 2016 has taught me. And I'll recap really quickly for you guys. It's 6 lessons that I shared that 2016 has taught me. The first lesson is that I need to be purposeful and not perfect. You don't need to be perfect to begin. You don't need to have $1 million. You don't need to have all of these things. You just need to be purposeful, meaning that you're intentional about moving forward. You're not waiting for everything to be perfect. You're not waiting for every T to be crossed and every I to be dotted in order for you to move forward, right? That's the first thing. The second thing I learned in this year was that I'm not for everybody, and I am okay with that. So those that unfriended, those that unfollowed, those that blocked, those that didn't purchase, those that didn't do anything, guess what? All they did was make room for those people that I am for. All they did was allow for me to stay authentic and stay true to who I am, because I'm not going to change who I am for anybody else. And if this is not what you want, if this is not the kind of first lady that you desire, if this is not the kind of entrepreneur that you like, this is not the kind of trainer or leader that you like, I promise you there are over 1,000 more that may have what you need. But make room and get out the way for those people that are on this live stream right now that want it, that desire it, that need it, that want it raw and the way that it is. So I understand that I'm not for everybody, but I am for somebody, right? The third thing that I learned this year, that it is possible for you to make your dreams come true with $1. You can have it with $1 and a dream. It did not cost me $1 million to begin to operate in purpose. It did not cost me $1 million to go on IRS.gov and register and get an EIN number to make my organization official. It did not cost me anything but some time to sit up and research how to self-publish. It did not cost me all of those things. And we need to stop saying that we need more money. We need more this, we need more that. God has placed something inside of you. Go ahead and do it. In this season, you need to have a Nike ministry. Nike, just do it, right? It's time out for you making excuses as to why you're not going back to school, as to why you're not doing what you desire to do, as to why you're not going, traveling the world, going here, going there. Just do it. Just do it. Take your dream and do it, because everything else will follow. So that was number 3. Number 4 was change the narrative. What is it that you're telling yourself that is not true? What is it that you're believing or making yourself to believe so that you won't walk according to your destiny. Change the story. Take that DVD out, throw it in the trash, go buy you a new one, go to the $5 bin at Walmart and buy you a new DVD, because it is time for you to change the narrative and the story. I love you more, sissy. Oh, thanks, Rashida. Listen, you have to change the narrative, right? Number 5 is balance is key. You have to balance out your life, right? You got all these dreams, you got all these aspirations, you got all of these things. All of them can be done, but they all can't be done at the same time, right? Just because you have this amazing dream doesn't mean that your household should suffer. It doesn't mean that you slack at work. It doesn't mean any of those things, right? Hey, Reese, how are you? So it doesn't mean those things. And that last part is own your experience, right? Yes, it has happened to you, but it is not who you are. It's not who you are. Mistakes happen every single day, but you own the experience and you learn from it and you grow. Listen, turn that mess into a message. Turn that stuff. And we hear those cliches all the time, but it is the truth. That should be your fuel and your fire to move forward. That should stop being the fear and the resistance to make you stay back, but it should catapult you into your destiny. It should propel you into your purpose. It's that thing. It's the prerequisite, right? As a college instructor, there are certain classes that you have to take before you can enroll in mine, right? As a college student, there were certain things that I had to take to move on to the next level. That's the case with our life and our experiences, right? Because guess what? It's the prerequisite that you need to move forward in your life. Everything that you've been through was your training ground to go to the next level. So when we look at it that way, we can then own our experience, and no longer do we look at it as a shortcoming. No longer do we look at it as something that's stunting our growth, but we look at it as that thing that we grew through. We look at it as, you know how you're walking down the sidewalk and you see right in a crack, there's this flower that bloomed out of the concrete. That's you and your experience. No matter what has happened to you, you still persevere. You're still here. You came through that thing. It could not stop you. So guess what? That was one of the things that I had to learn. As positive as I am, as successful as I am, all of those things, these are things that I still struggled with. Right? So I'm not getting on here just giving inspiration. I'm giving you things that I struggled with throughout this year, right? 2016, that has helped me to grow and be better. Because I can give you all of the amazing highlight reels of all of the wonderful things that my organization that we've done this year. But what about those times that fear crept in? What about those times that I felt that I was inadequate in a room because of all of the things that I went through? But then I had to own my experience. That's what makes me me. That's what makes me validated. That's why I get an opportunity to sit here, because I went through what I went through and I'm still here. You may not have went through what I went through, but guess what? We're still all sitting at the same table with all your money, with all your degrees, with everything that you have. And I have degrees. I have money too, but not a lot. But, I have money too, but I'm sitting here just like you are. So I own my experience, and I know that I deserve to sit where you're sitting. We're at the table together. So you got to own your experience. So that was my last lesson of 2016. I thank you all for joining me on the live stream on this evening on Periscope, as well as on Facebook Live. And guys, if you, ladies, sorry guys, you can't join, but if you desire, we do have a group Made for Purpose. It's a closed group here on Facebook where we talk about all kinds of things. And I also have an email list where I send out inspiration and all of those things. So I do a lot of things behind the scenes. I know that you see my posts and you see all of those things, but if you want to stay connected, if you want to be a part of those, Made for Purpose is my Facebook group, and I'll put it up right after this in here so that you can go right to it. And then we also have an email listing that we send out emails on a regular basis. And the last announcement that I want to make, not sure whether or not you guys have seen it. Y'all see my new shirt. It says made for purpose because you want to walk and declare that you are made for purpose. It's $20. The proceeds from this shirt helps me to put on the teen summits, to go into the high schools, to give girls self-esteem, and to give the girls all of those things. So instead of me just saying, hey, can you just give me some money to help some girls out? Why not have a shirt in the process? And it comes in black and gold, and it also comes in purple and gold right now. So if you desire, you can get a shirt. I have a whole box of them right over here. So if you want a shirt, let me know. And we also have what is called a membership network. That is right. You get all of this empowerment, but it's specifically for members. You get it for a 1 year for $45. That's live coaching. That's webinars. That's trainings. That's meetups. You get to come to live events at a discounted rate, all of those things. So if you desire to, be a part of the network, let me know and I'll give you the information. We're not taking more members after this Saturday. That is correct. If you don't join by this Saturday, you got to wait a whole nother year, because my desire is to focus on that network and those members. So you need a large, okay, and I'll make sure that I put up the link so that you can go to the store and get it. It's bit.ly. Can somebody type this in for me? bit.ly/purpose store. So that's where you can go online and you can see all of those things that we have to offer. It's bit.ly /purpose store. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you for joining, and I am hoping that we can partner together, and I'll see you again in 2017. Have an amazing, thank you so much. It's bit.ly /purpose store. Purpose store. So you can go there and you can get all of the information about Denisha got hers. You can get all of the information about the shirts, about the membership, and about all of the other classes and things that I offer. I have some a self-love workbook, a forgiveness workbook on there. So all kinds of different things. And you have an amazing evening, guys. See you later.